getting a signal from me on the mic? Yeah. I hear myself. I hear myself now.
Baruch HaGever Sheyiftach Adonai V'hai Adonai Mivtacho Bichu Adonai Hadean Ki be'Adonai Tzur Olamim V'yiftechu B'cha Kilo azata doshecha Adonai Adonai chafetz leman tzidko Yagdil Torah ve'yadir Baruch HaGever Asher yiftach b'Adonai V'hai Adonai Mivtacho Bichu Adonai Hadean Ki be'Adonai Tzur Olamim V'yiftechu B'cha Yolei Shemecha Ki lo azakta doshecha Adonai chafetz leman tzidko Yagdil Torah Adonai chafetz l'man tzidko Yagdir Torah ve'yadir
Been driving along dry seas of land that carried my boat into a bank of sand. There I walked off, raised my hands, reaching up to God for rain again. Not long ago, my tongue did taste sweetness of a dew that rests in its place. My eyes got caught, led me astray to an airy land of rust and decay. Oh, let there not be another in my eyes. Oh, let there not be another in my eyes. I walk alone, shadow overhead is a longing in my heart and gets misread. That if I follow, get misled to walk in the valleys of the dead. How long must I wait? Been alone all my days, walking this earth under hot sun rays. Been longing for the love of
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's lovely to be with you. Let's take a little bit of just a breath to be present here. And we will get started. We're going to begin in just a moment on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem. And we all enter the sanctuary every week, every time we enter the space, carrying whatever it is, right? It's been an eventful week, and certainly in our country, in many of our lives, in different kinds of ways. We carry in all the things that are lifting us, that are weighing us down, they're all here with us. And so we try to be a container for all of that and also kind of let some of it go as we're present for this time together in the sanctuary. So we're going to begin with Shalom Aleichem, which you'll find on page 24.
Get my page up here. Dai da 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 dai dai, dai 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 da dai dai, dai 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 da dai dai, dai dai dai, ya da da dai dai, ya dai dai da dai dai, ya dai dai da dai dai, ya dai dai. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharein. Malchei, Malchei, Malchei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Boachem, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malchei, Malchei, Malchei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malchei, Malchei, Malchei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Yada-da-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da-da-da. Die, die, die. Die, 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 die. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malchei, Malchei, Malchei Elyon, Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. One last Yadadai chorus.
Yadadai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai, yadadai-dai-dai-dai. Die, die, die. So I mentioned that lots of things sit with us in the sanctuary at any one time. And one of the joyous things that is with us in the sanctuary today is that on this Shabbat we get to celebrate with Leif Bulson and his family as he becomes bar mitzvah. And so some of you maybe will be with us tomorrow too and get to celebrate with Leif and we wish him mazal tov, and he'll help lead our service this evening. I'd like to invite Leif's mom Mika and Grandma Charlotte to come on up, and we turn to pages 2 and 3 in our prayer book. If you can comfortably do so, I invite you to rise.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As the brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlikner Shel Shabbat.
You may be seated. We turn to pages 20 and 21. And before we enter into L'chadodi, it's our custom to take a few moments for a review of the week, to think back to last Shabbat, to pause a moment on each day, and to be together and think about on each day its blessings and its challenges. And then we'll come back together and greet Shabbat with L'chadodi. Take a deep breath. Shabbat renews the soul. Let's join in L'chadodi, pages 20 and 21.
So I want to just say a little something brief about this L'chadodi. One of the many joys of working with our young people as they become bar bat mitzvah here at Temple Beth Israel is you get to know a little bit about the families. And certainly the time that I've spent with Leif and his mom and the Bolson family has been a fascinating journey. One of the things that we learned in the course of our sort of digging back into the genealogical roots of Leif is that he is actually the descendant of a line of rabbis that goes all the way back to the 15th century. Not only do they have roots, yiches. He's got yiches. So not only do they have roots to Italy, to Germany, they particularly have roots in Russia, and specifically in the city of what is now St. Petersburg, which was through most of the 20th century Leningrad. And Leif's great-great-great-grandfather was appointed the chief rabbi of the Great Choral Synagogue in Leningrad, somewhere in the mid-20s. And around the same time as he was appointed to this very high position at the synagogue, they engaged a cantor named Pierre Pinchik. Pierre Pinchik was one of the celebrity cantors of the early part of the 20th century, and he was brought specifically to the Leningrad synagogue to introduce the music of one of the great Jewish composers of the late 19th century, Louis Lewandowski. So we're going to sing Lewandowski's L'chadodi tonight. It's a melody you probably have heard around. If you don't hear it, you somewhere have it in your Jewish chromosomes. So join in, and as we always say, if you can't do the Hebrew comfortably, la da da, or dee dee dee, or die die die, or doobie doobie doo even works. So it's a melody that I think you'll recognize for the chorus. You probably won't recognize the melody for the verses, but you'll know the words because they're the same ones that we do every Friday night, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
And when we get to verse 9, we'll rise and face the doors from which we entered to welcome the Shabbat presence into the congregation.
Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Mekabela Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Mekabela Shamor v'zachor v'ribur echad Hishmianu el hamyuchan Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shem ultiferet V'litchila Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Nikabela Likrat Shabbat Bechuven elcha Ki mekor habracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sob maaseh v'maksheva tchila Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Nikabela Hitoreri Ki vorech Uri Shidaveri Kevod Adonai Alayich nigla Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Nikabela.
We rise and face the doors from which we entered.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam simcha u'zohola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Nikabela Lecha dodi likrat kola Penei Shabbat Nikabela.
We continue on page 26. with Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah
Amen.
Ba'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'cha yichon uv'yom echon Uv'chayei dechot bet Yisrael Bagala Uvizman Kariv Veimeru Amen Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Leolam Ulamei Almaya Yitbarach Vayishtabach Vayitpa'ar Vayittroman Vayitnasei Vayithadar Vayithalei Vayithalal Shemei Dekudesha Berichu Leila Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'meru Amen.
Just going to read Baruch Hu in just a moment. We continue with Baruch Hu, our call to prayer on page 28. Just reading Hebrew and then English. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach, Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praised be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever.
Ay, la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Va'ed Hamevorach Leolam
Page 30, last 3 lines in the Hebrew, El Chai V'Kayam.
El Chai V'Kayam Tamidim L'Chaleinu Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Amariv Aravi.
Amen. Page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Atasir mimenu leolamim Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Amen. Shema Yisrael, page 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Hear, O Yisrael, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema
seated, we continue on page 36 with Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר עשיתי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי ואתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם בארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem, Emet. We turn to page 40. We are, as I mentioned last week, we began the book of Shmot, of Exodus, the beginning of the Exodus story. We'll hear a little bit more about it today, but last week was Moses' birth and being put in the river, and Pharaoh's daughter pulling Moses from the river. And of course, this is the beginning of the story of redemption that we celebrate each service in the morning and in the evening as we sing our Micha Mocha, part of the Song of the Sea that we have here on page 40. And while the words of Micha Mocha, Har Baruch Atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael at the end, who redeemed Israel, it's a past tense verb, thinking about the redemption at the sea. The understanding of the prayer is that it's both backward-looking and forward-looking, right? That the redemption that once was models for us that redemption is always possible, that there'll be future redemptions for the Jewish people and for the world as well as we move forward. And so it's a prayer of thanks and a prayer of hope. Micha Mocha, page 40.
Micha Mocha, Oelim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Torah Tehilo, Osei Feleh. Micha Mocha, Oelim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Torah Tehilo, Osei Feleh. Malchutcha Rovanecha Mokeyam Livnei Moshe uMiriam Ze'eli Anu Ve'amru Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed. Micha Mocha, Oelim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Norah Tehilo, Osei Feleh. Norah Tehilo, Osei Feleh. Osei Felek. V'ne'emar ki v'Adonai et Yaakov u'galo v'yad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Amen. Page 42, Hashkivenu. We ask the Holy One to shelter us with a Shabbat Shalom, a tabernacle of peace, and to work for peace for ourselves, to work for peace as well in this world. Hashkivenu. Page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'amidenu shomreinu lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'amidenu shomreinu lechayim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ushmot zetenu uvoenu ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ushmot zetenu uvoenu Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Ve'amidenu shomreinu lechayim Baruch atah Adonai Aporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim
We give thanks for Shabbat, for the opportunity to reflect and to connect to our deepest selves, to our community, to the Holy One, for the opportunity to take a breath and just pause in the busyness of our week. Join in singing Vishamru, page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Masot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Masot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם Ve'ni ve'bnei Yisrael Oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Masot et ha-Shabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Yasod et ha-Shabbat לדורותם בריך עולם.
We continue on page 46 for our Amidah. I invite everybody who can comfortably do so to please rise. You stay here. Just wait for him. No, wait for him.
Adonai sefate tiftach u'afia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanara El Rayon Gomel Hasadim Tovim Vekone Hakol Vezocher Chaste Avod V'Himahot Umevge Gulali V'Nehem Leman Shoho Be'avaha Melech Ozir Washil Mugen Baruch atah Adonai Megin Avrahat Bezrat Sarah.
Page 50.
Atagi Bor Lelam Adonai Mechay Hakol Ata Rav Lehoshia Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem Mechakel Chayim Bechesed Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asarim Ungekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Baal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Mimit Emunakeh Umatzmiya Yeshua V'ne'eman ata lechayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Megereh hakol.
Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please continue silently with the text of your own heart or the words of the prayer book through page 62, 63. When you're through, you may be seated.
That mic doesn't want to hear me speak. Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Last week, I wanted to play the piece I'm about to play in honor of Martin Luther King Day. But, of course, last week was our Shabbat Together service, so that preempted the solo. But the song, No One Knows the Trouble I've Seen, is an African-American spiritual, very well known to most everybody here, I hope. Dates from the slave period times, very sad and tragic period in American history. But it wasn't actually published until 1867, this song, after the Civil War had ended. Song is so well known. It's been covered by so many famous artists: Louis Armstrong, Lena Horne, Paul Robeson, just to name a few. And all the song deals with the struggles of Black Americans. Its message speaks to us today with many people struggling against oppression and hardship. One only can think of all of the terrible tragedies with the wildfires in Los Angeles and of course, the war in Ukraine and the hostages in Gaza. So this is No One Knows the Trouble I've Seen.
So today, in our Torah portion, we begin to dive into more of the Exodus story, but I'd actually sort of like to take a broader view for a moment. As we delve into the story of Moses and the Exodus, often what's focused on in the narrative is Moses and his leadership. But there's so much more to the story, parts that sometimes go unnoticed, that the Exodus is shaped not just by Moses, but by really 6 remarkable women whose courage and faith are the backbone of our people's liberation. Without them, there would be no Moses, there'd be no Exodus. Their actions remind us that leadership is not solely defined by titles or power, but by the willingness to act by one's values. The first of these women is Yocheved, who's Moses' mother. When Pharaoh decrees that every Hebrew baby boy is to be killed, Yocheved defies the authorities to protect her son. She hid him and then placed him in a basket, trusting that God would watch over him. Her actions gave Moses the chance to live, and through him, an entire nation would be freed. And then there's Miriam, Moses' sister. As a young girl, she watched over her brother when he was set adrift in the Nile. And then when Pharaoh's daughter found him, Miriam courageously suggested that the child be nursed by a Hebrew woman. Miriam knew, but not Pharaoh's daughter, his own mother, right? Miriam's quick thinking and bravery ensured that Moses would be raised and also nurtured and prepared for his life. And we must remember Shiphrah and Puah, 2 midwives who defy Pharaoh's orders, Pharaoh's commands to kill Hebrew boys. By refusing to follow such an immoral order, they risked their lives to protect innocent children. And their story is one of the first in our tradition that illustrates the principle that though human power is limited, we should do all we can to always choose life over oppression. And it's interesting, Shiphrah and Puah, there's a whole rabbinic debate about Shiphrah and Puah, that it's not clear from the Hebrew whether they are midwives to the Hebrews or whether they are Hebrew midwives, right? And actually, different commentators purposely choose different pieces. Some of the commentators say, no, they're not Hebrews. They're midwives to the Hebrews, and that makes them all the more heroic, right? That this isn't something that is affecting their people, so to speak, but they still do what they believe is right. And then there are others who write from different places that they write from a place in which, well, nobody who wasn't a Hebrew would ever do this. I mean, our experience in the world is only Jews look out for us, right? So depending on where people are writing from in their Jewish historical place, they sometimes came up with different pieces. So we have Yocheved, and we have Miriam, and we have Shiphrah and Puah. So that's 4. I promised you 6, so we've got 2 more. Here we go. Tzipporah, Moses' wife, also displays great courage. When Moses hesitates to fulfill a crucial commandment, that is circumcising their son, Tzipporah takes immediate action and takes responsibility for it. Her decision reminds us that sometimes the most important actions don't come from those in the spotlight, but sometimes those behind the scenes. People willing to act when others don't. And then we have Pharaoh's daughter, who I talked about a little bit last week as well, because in the Torah, her name is just Bat Paro, right? Pharaoh's daughter, that's the name. But the rabbis give her the name Batya, right? Which is a daughter of God, right? A daughter of God, because she clearly knows this is a Hebrew child that she draws from the river, that she takes from the river, and yet she also defies her father in that way, and she raises the child as her own. And so she risked everything in many ways to save Moses, acting out of compassion, defying the very system, that she was a part of. And her courage reminds us that leadership is rooted in compassion and that standing up for what's right often requires going against the status quo. I think what's important here is these women were not political leaders. They didn't hold titles of power, but they showed that leadership is about more than authority. It's about living your values and standing up for what you think is right. In every era, we face systems of oppression and inequality and injustice. And in the face of these challenges, the courage of the women of the Exodus serves as a beacon for us. Empowerment and justice across the world, women continue to lead social movements, advocating for equality and human rights and justice, like Yocheved, who defied Pharaoh to protect your child. Women today are at the forefront of challenging unjust systems. They remind us that true leadership often comes from unexpected places. The courage to stand against injustice remains urgent in our world. Whether we're talking about defying authoritarian governments or fighting for civil rights or speaking out against discrimination, stories of Shifra and Pua and Pharaoh's daughter teach us that each act of resistance can change the course of history. Compassion and human dignity. In our time, compassion is still a revolutionary force. Pharaoh's daughter risked her life to protect Moses, an innocent child of a marginalized people. And today we see similar acts of compassion from those who risk everything to help refugees or immigrants or to fight for the oppressed, to ensure the dignity of every person. These acts remind us that human capacity for kindness and empathy can be very powerful. The women of the Exodus didn't rule as kings or queens, but their actions were filled with leadership. Grassroots activists and community organizers and everyday people like you, like me, we have the power to play a crucial role in changing our society for the better. And the Exodus story reminds us that each courageous act can change history. We do not need permission to act when we see injustice, that one person's courage can create a ripple effect that changes communities. And so we reflect on this Shabbat on these 6 incredible women. Women with whom our own redemption story just would not have moved forward, right? And it's really remarkable that they're mentioned even here in our text at all, because by and large, women aren't, right, within the text. They're raised up here, and again, the rabbis even give a nameless woman here a name, right, Pharaoh's daughter. So as we reflect on them and their courage, we're reminded that their example is just as important today. Whether we're fighting for justice or standing up against oppression or protecting the most vulnerable among us, we remember that each act is important, and it may inspire others as well. May we find the strength and conviction to act when it matters most, to act with compassion and with justice, and help to move the story of redemption forward. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to turn now to page 253. As we turn our thoughts to all of those in our lives and in our world, and there are so many, in need of healing, of body, of mind, of spirit. We hold them in our hearts, in our minds. Holy One, blessed our mothers, blessed our fathers, ancient days. Bless and heal those in our hearts.
And hear our prayer as we say their names. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Imalei Rachamim Aleihem, Chachzikam Ularapotam, Veishlach Lahem Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, Betol Sha'ar Cholei Yisrael. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayers as we say their names.
We ask for blessings upon Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Toback, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakoff, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Brad Holland, Serena Postal, Robert Strober, Lori Snyder, Charity Razade, Gloria Foster, Robert Gerard, Adele Harris, Brenda Found Gerard, Jan Marcus, Al Shapiro, Robert Waldman, Udique Gratz DeLange, Deborah DeLange, James Stead, Stephen Gilbert, Bill Hughes, Ed Means, Stan Stein, Virginia Guzman, Suzette Guzman, Marilyn Rudin, Sandy Gunn, Faye Bernstein, Sandra Dizengoff, John Foster, Ron Sokloff, Larry Meir, Susan Goldstein, Karen Nelson, Mickey Pollack, Larry Gassner, Marsha Lloyd, Terry Lloyd, Fred Rosenblum, Sharon Everett, Mark Kramer, Stacy Martin, Anthony Juarez, Ellen Sopkin, Jerry Feingold, Tim Nelson, Susan Smalls, Jim Morrison, Gabe Stobel, and
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
page 261. As we enter a new month on our Hebrew calendar, we offer a prayer for our new month. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have a long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good.
Rosh Chodesh Shvat Yeh B'Yom Chamishi.
The new month of Shvat will begin on Thursday. And now, I'd like to invite Neil Gerard back up to share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm pleased to bring greetings on behalf of your Board of Trustees. Thanks, as always, tonight to Rabbi Kupitz for an inspiring message, to Cantor Bush for helping to lead our service with wonderful music and voice, and to Randy, whose song was not only beautiful but thought-provoking. We thank you. Thanks also to Sean Peterson, who keeps us online and allows those who are not able to join us in the sanctuary to see and be part of our service. Mazel tov to Leif and to the family on becoming a bar mitzvah. And Leif, thank you for helping lead our service tonight. We always welcome guests to our service, and tonight we're pleased to welcome a class from the University of Laverne. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, as always, to our volunteers, our greeters, and those who help to keep us safe and welcome. So our greeters tonight include Kylie Sykes, Joan Gerard, Vicki Hollander, Marissa Nicely, and they're always led by Judy Rose, tonight also joined by Sharon Regalado. Following tonight's service, please join us in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, refreshments, and conversation. It's a great opportunity to welcome our guests and to meet new people. Tonight's Oneg is sponsored by TBI and the B'nai Mitzvah families. A couple of highlights for upcoming events I would like to share. Next weekend, we have a very special weekend visit from songwriter and composer Michael Hunter Oakes. Michael will join us on Friday night for Shabbat Tefillah, and then on Saturday, there is a lunch and learn with Michael as he learns about our community, and it will give him inspiration as he creates a song which will be a dedication in honor of the successful completion of Or Hadash campaign. If you'd like to join us for the lunch, please call the office and let them know and make a reservation. On Sunday, February 9th, the women of TBI present a Tu B'Shvat Seder. And if you'd like to participate in that, you can find that online or in the link was in the Tekiah. On Wednesdays, on February 19th, 26th, and March 5th, Professors Gary Gilbert and Tammy Schneider present A Journey Through the Sacred, a 3-part class of sacred land, space, and time. Tammy and Gary's classes are always engaging and great fun, and we look forward to them. Shabbat Shalom.
The only other thing, thank you, Neil, for the announcements and the wonderful description of what's happening next week with Michael. Michael's in California. He's has a residence this weekend in Marin County, and he's very much looking forward to joining us. If you are planning to join us for the Saturday session, Neil mentioned RSVP to the office. There's also a link you can click on in all of our social media and in the Tekiah, certainly, and that's just to make sure that we're covered and we can support. It's open to everybody. You can come without RSVPing, but it's really important for us to know how many people to plan for lunch. And I want to thank especially the Or Hadash Campaign Committee for sponsoring the Oneg on Friday night, and the Brendan Roosevelt Scholars Committee for sponsoring the lunch. And thank you very much for all of the things that you do.
So I just want to make a quick note that last Monday, MLK Day, we had a group of volunteers here. I don't know, maybe about 30 people, I would guess. I didn't count, so I don't really know. But who did a number of projects around, but I thought people would particularly, they did the typical things that we do here of sprucing up. They got rid of lots of stuff that we had lots of extra stuff of that's accumulated over the years and stuff, but also put together Shabbat kits and hygiene kits, Shabbat kits being candlesticks, Kiddush cup, candles, that kind of stuff, and hygiene kits for people who have lost their homes or can't go back to their homes because of the fire. And I know that they were delivered this week to our Jewish Federation, who was then in contact with those who were distributing it. So just to let people know that that was one of our projects this week, and we'll keep people up to date, and please follow the Federation's information too, because there'll be obviously ongoing ways in the days, weeks, months, perhaps years ahead where we can be supportive of our neighbors who have lost so much in the fires in recent days. So just to put that out there. We are going to move toward the conclusion of our service. We move to page 282 in the middle of the page for Aleinu L'Shabeach. I'll invite everybody who can comfortably do so to please rise. Page 287. Page 294. Our thoughts turn to those who shaped our lives, who have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. In our congregational community, we remember the recent death of Lenore Benjamin, mother of Arthur Benjamin. Remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Rose Addis, Becky Asher, Minnie Beckerman, Frank Budrovic, Lou Charloff, Karen Clayman, Alfredo Diaz, Sam Friedman, Helen Gross, Pauline Harding, Mildred Endursky, Morris J. Karnofsky, Oscar Klein, Florence Morse, Henry Salin, Sheldon Schenfeld, Sally Showman, Herbert Leonard Wachtel. If you're remembering somebody on this Shabbat, would like to add their name to our list or restate a name that I've mentioned, please feel free to do so as I come by your row.
Elaine Bush Weinstein.
If you're in a time of mourning or observing a Yortzeit on the Shabbat, I invite you to rise. And I invite the rest of the congregation, if it's your custom, to rise and embrace in support of those who mourn. Again, Kaddish is on 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, b'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'hagala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei du kudusha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And we'll conclude as we typically do, not always, but typically, with Biyado, last stanza on page 321. Beit Ishan ve'a'ira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. This side again, my soul I give to you. Soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. My spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Safely in your hand. Biyado afkidruchi. Biyado afkidruchi. Beit Ishan ve'a'ira. Beit Ishan ve'a'ira. Ve'imruchi geviati. Ve'imruchi geviati. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Ve'imruchi geviati. Adonai li velo ira. For those who joined us online, thank you for being with us, and Shabbat Shalom. For all of you in the sanctuary, please join us in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, refreshments. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.